Ismaila told me that there was a moto ahead waiting for us. And I thought to myself, a moto? A car is waiting for us? And it struck me for the first time that I'd been kidnapped and that there was a car waiting for me. And that meant that I was going to be taken somewhere, maybe far away, maybe out of the state. And this terrible fear just cut through me. And I was really, really afraid. And I just began praying, God, save me, save me, save me, save me. I just kept praying like that. Well, before I knew it, we came across a motorcycle. That was the moto he was talking about. It wasn't a car, it was a motorbike. Thank God. I was so relieved. So there was a driver there. I was put on the bike behind the driver, and then Ismaila pulled a black wool cap mask over my head. It had eye holes so I could still see. And he tucked my hair up underneath the mask and then put on his army coat around me, apparently trying to disguise me. But it was no disguise. I mean, my hands were white, my feet were white. So anybody could see I was being kidnapped, you know. But anyway, so Ismaila got on the back behind me, and we took off and continued for several kilometers through the woods. Finally, we reached a very deep ravine, and we stopped the motorbike, and we slipped and slid down the bank of this ravine into a deep, like a gulch, a dry river gulch. And from there, we walked for several meters to a place that was quite hidden by overhanging branches. And Ismaila said that I could rest there. And so I just fell down on the ground because I was so exhausted. And, you know, my stomach was lurching from exhaustion and fear. And so I threw up, you know, everything that was in my stomach. And then I just instantly fell asleep. Well, when I woke up, it was getting dark. And I suddenly saw myself, as these captors must see me, lying on my face in the dirt, you know, in my vomit, covered with leaves and sticks and dirt, weak, pathetic, cringing like a beaten dog. And it was then that I decided, and I knew, that if I was ever going to get out of this situation alive, I had to take control of myself, you know? I had to show my captors the kind of person that I really was. I was a strong woman. I was a leader. I was a Free Methodist missionary sent to Nigeria to work with their people, you know, running schools, helping out with the church. I was an American, an expat, working with the governor of the state on an important project, you know, that would benefit thousands in the country. So it was enough. I didn't want to be like this. I didn't want them to see me as a person to be reviled, but a person to be respected. So I got up, and I found a rock to sit down on, and I tried to clean myself off, you know, kind of get all the muck out of my hair. And thank God I had a scarf. I took my scarf off and I scrubbed my face the best I could. And there followed 6 hours of blackout of information to my family, to the contact, to Bishop Kendall. Nobody knew what was going on because they couldn't reach Ismaila on his phone. And they thought the worst. And frankly, I also thought the worst. I didn't know what was going to happen to me, why they weren't releasing me. After about an hour, I walked up that little path and I called Ismaila, who immediately came. You know, I have to say he was the most patient person. He never got angry or irritated with me, even when I bugged him like that. He came down, I said, "You're supposed to be releasing me. I'm a free woman." And I said, "Can I come up? I don't want to stay in this rabbit hole anymore." He said, "No, you have to go back down there. Don't worry, just be patient." And he left. Another hour and a half or 2 hours went by, and still nothing was going on. And I was getting really worried. And so I went up and called him again. He came back down. I said, "Please, you need to call that motorbike driver the way you said you would, and get me out of here." I said, "I don't want to spend another night in this place." And so Ismaila took his phone, and you know, he didn't turn it on. It was like he was pretending for the benefit of the guys up there at the tree. And he shouted into the phone, "Bring the motorcycle, quick, motorcycle, quick." He said, "This woman doesn't want to spend the night here again tonight." And then he left, you know. So I found a rock and I sat down and I began to pray again, "God, save me, save me." And I went through all the Bible verses. I went through all my favorite hymns. And I went through the assurance, the words of assurance that were my mantra during this whole 12 days. And those were, thousands of people are praying for me. And they're praying to a God who answers prayer, a God who has told me I am the apple of his eye, whose arm has not been shortened that he cannot save, a God to whom nothing is impossible. He will save me and he will take me home. I will live and not die to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. So that's how I spent the next 3 hours. Well, at 6 o'clock, Ismaila came running down the trail, grabbed my hand, and said, "Let's go."